Hey guys, I'm Helena. So what we're going to do today is talk about our third and last opera, which is Lohengrin. And we're going to talk about who's evil and who's the good one, so to say. And there is like a couple of possibilities about this one. Also, I'm so sorry that I didn't upload again last week, but I don't know, I was kind of out of order after that whole exam that I had on Tuesday, and I still don't know if I passed or if I failed, and this is kind of driving me nuts, let's be honest. I'll hopefully get the email at least about one half of the exam soon, and then I'll know if I passed or if I didn't, because this is the last exam I need for my BA, so for my bachelor's degree. So yeah, kind of didn't have the emotional capacity to go through Lohengrin. But yeah, enough about me, and let's start with this one, which was also a question, by the way, in the exam. Answer was Lohengrin. I'm pretty sure about this, by the way. But never mind. It's not. I just wanted to tell you what the question was, but no one cares about that. So, Lohengrin. Good one, bad one. So, originally, it's really very simple. We've got Lohengrin and we've got Ortrud. It's really as simple as that. In the original, obviously, Lohengrin he's the Knight of the Grail, and he's good, and he's helping, and this and that and the other. So he's the knight in shining armor who saves the damsel in distress. He's good, he's great, he's wonderful. He exposes everything evil that's in the play, in the opera, and that's Lohengrin basically. That's what he was wrote to be. Is what he originally was, and what he is depicted as most times. It's only newer times when they were beginning to ask questions and stuff. And we've got obviously Ortrud. She's a priestess of Wotan, and she's a priestess of Freya. At least those are the two gods that she names. So she's Nordic. Again, Wagner himself called her a Jewish knight figure. We talked about this from my account 2 weeks ago, but in the last episode we talked at length about this whole Jewish knight figure thing. So she's designed to be the bad one by Wagner. That's just as it is. She's also a woman. She's intelligent. I mean, which Catholic man wouldn't hate her? Let's just be in this. And I'm not really normally on the patriarchal train and saying, oh, well, patriarchy is so horrible and we should have a society ruled by women, because no, we shouldn't. Should be equal. Should be neither patriarchy nor matriarchy. It should be just equal. No one should care about which sex or gender. So I don't normally say this lightly, but in this case, that's just what it is. I mean, we have Lohengrin, who's the savior. He's the man. He knows everything. He's the good one. Da 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 da. She's an intelligent woman, and this is the major thing that distinguishes her from Elsa, is that Ortrud's intelligent. And she's supposed to be intelligent. And Elsa, it's not that she's not intelligent, but she shouldn't be. Because, as we know, women weren't supposed to be that educated or that intelligent. That's why women such as Anne Boleyn stood out so much, basically. Because she was well educated and she didn't care about the opinions of others. Until she, But that's just the thing. It's like we have an Anne Boleyn and Jane Seymour thing here going on. We've got this very well-educated lady who doesn't care about the opinions of others, and who, well, she challenges the man in her life. And we've got Elsa, who's like this very demure woman, but who was also raised that way. We always forget that, because Elsa is not stupid, she's not dumb, she was just raised a certain way. She was raised to be a wife and mother, and that's it, basically. So what I want to say with this is Ortrud's an educated woman in an environment where she shouldn't be, and where this is not wanted in women. And this is why Lohengrin doesn't like her, because she questions him and she questions his authority. And this is also when we come into our next interpretation. You know, the first one was Lohengrin's good, Ortrud's bad. The second one is the exact other way round. It's that Ortrud's the good one and she's the only one who sees through Lohengrin, and Lohengrin's the bad one. And this is actually something that I kind of saw in the still momentary Lohengrin production in Bayreuth. They don't have yet a new one. I think the last one is gone now, but they don't yet have a new one. So, saying the momentary one. And it's just this moment where you say, Ortrud's the only one who questions it. Because you have this guy who comes now, he's an animal abuser, we see that. He gets carried, his carriage gets by thing by a swan, I don't know. He gets carried by a swan, basically. So he's an animal abuser. He doesn't tell us his name. He doesn't say who he is, where he came from, who his parents are, what he is. He just comes and then, like, overthrows the hero of Brabant. And no one but Ortrud says, that's fishy, that's weird. Why would we trust this guy? We've got this hero, Friedrich von Terramund, who's the greatest hero. He slayed a lot of people to protect Brabant. He's a hero. He's our man. Everyone wanted him as Duke. Everyone. And then this guy comes and just overthrows him? That's weird. And this is exactly what is now, well, what is now wanted. Not specifically what is wanted, but what people see now. Because we come from a time where it's like, oh, this golden savior, he's great, he must be sent from God, we'll just support him, to maybe we should ask questions. And this is why in today's day and age, we have Ortrud, who's very questioning, and she's actually the good one in this production, and she gets rewarded for that. And Lohengrin, who disguises himself, who doesn't say who he is, he doesn't lie, but he conceals the truth, he doesn't get rewarded for that. So in this case, if we have this very modern reading of Lohengrin, we have Ortrud as the good one and Lohengrin as the bad one. Because what he does is still not technically bad, but we should question him. And this is something that's really good I think in today's productions, that you actually say we should ask questions. We shouldn't just take it in and say, oh yeah, he looks good, he's blonde, he's got long hair, he's got a sword, there's a swan, great, he must be sent by God, we should believe him. No, we should always ask questions. It's just a thing. I think also we got a bit, well, lazy with that, due to all of this information flooding in on us, with all the news of all the continents and stuff and wars and presidents and this and that. But we should really ask questions. We should not take anything for granted. Just saying. So I think that's actually a great reading. But on the other hand, I'm a mezzo-soprano defender, so I'll always be on the side of Ortrud. It's just a thing, I'm biased. I'm gonna stand by it. So, this is the second reading. We have Lohengrin is good, Ortrud's bad, and we have Ortrud's good and Lohengrin's bad. So there's a third reading. By the way, like, you know, my nails are always different colors, so don't mind me. I had a little anything goes phase last week, so it's dark blue and white right now. Anyway, and yes, I like musicals. I like musicals and opera. I stand by it. It's good. And it also makes me an outcast in everything I do. When I'm at the opera and say, oh, I like musicals, it's like side eye, and the same thing goes when I'm at musicals and I say I like opera. It's like, bitch. Anyway, there's a third reading actually, and I don't quite know how to interpret this, but in the last production of Lohengrin in Bayreuth, there's this concept with colors. You might have noticed this. There's this this original blue, and it only that they created, Neo Rauch and Rosa Loy. They created this very dark, beautiful blue. It's almost like this, and they said we're only going to like swatch it with white, and it's only going to be lighter from this color. There's not going to be anything else. It's just going to be white. And they said, if I remember it correctly, that Friedrich von Telramund had the darkest blue out of all of them, and Elsa had the lightest blue out of all of them. And Ortrud and Lohengrin were kind of in the middle of that. So, what we could say now, and I don't know if that was their intention or if it's just a color question, but considering how thought through this whole thing is, and it's not a typical Regie theater thing where you say, oh, they have like 18 liters of blood on the stage because it's dramatic. No, I think they're really thought through. So, what my personal interpretation would be, and I don't know if that's true, is the kind of Friedrich, I don't want to say he's an asshole, but he very often behaves like one, even though he's a hero. And this is also, people can be ambiguous. Actually, almost everyone is ambiguous. No one is just good and no one is just bad. And this is the second lesson for today after ask questions. The second thing is, no person in this world is just bad or just good. Even, I don't know, no, I'm not going to go into politics. Anyway. Friedrich does often behave like an asshole. I mean, just the way that he says that, I think it's als ich mit Drohnen dann in Elsa drang. Something like that, which is, by the way, if you just say it like this, it's really dirty. Anyway, he basically insinuates that he harmed Elsa in any way, shape or form to get this, well, to get her to say that she killed her brother. And she says that, but only after he does something to her. And he just said, I threatened her. But the way that it is put in this Lohengrin production, this Bayreuth Lohengrin production, this Neo Rauch and Rosa Loy production, it is that he does it like this, als ich mit Drohnen nun in Elsa drang. So he does a physical gesture in this moment, which might be just because Tomasz Konieczny just had an interesting day. Might be. I think it's more of that he actually physically either threatened her or hurt her, and that this is something that they wanted people to notice. So that he's not just a victim of what Ortrud does, because this is also another reading. I mean, his name is Friedrich, and as we know with Wagnerian names, it's very, very easy to distinguish who's good and who's bad. You always have those dark-sounding names like Ortrud, Kundry, Alberich, something like that, which sound very, very dark and very gloomy. And then we have things like Siegfried, Sieglinde, Siegmund. Those are all very light-sounding names, and Friedrich is one of them. So Wagner already tells us that Friedrich is really one of the good guys. He's just made bad by what Ortrud says, because Friedrich himself, he would be on the good side, obviously. But I think that they wanted to tell us that Friedrich's actually not that good of a guy. And this is both the color and this thing that he does. Because obviously he also threatens Ortrud to kill her in the second act. And I mean, again, we have to question people. We also have to question heroes. It's a thing. Unfortunately. So, we have now this new component of Friedrich having this obviously violent, obviously he's violent, he's killed people. So if he wants to get out of Elsa what he wants, which is this confession about her brother's death, then he'll do what it takes. And I think they worked that out beautifully. And of course, we have Elsa on the other side of the spectrum, who's the lightest color. And she's the only person who basically doesn't have a bad thought within the whole piece. We just have to give it to her. I mean, I'm not such an Elsa fan. I'm gonna say it, but we have to give it to her that she's the only one who's pure. Also, I have a problem with this pure thing, but this might be an extra episode sometime. So, she really cares for her brother. She thinks every person is good. Her only real thing is that she turned down Friedrich and his hand in marriage. And again, with this reading that we say Friedrich is the darkest color and Elsa is the lightest, this would be okay for Elsa. It's the only not good thing that she does. So, but if Friedrich is the bad guy in this moment, then it's okay for Elsa to do that, because it's okay for her to say no to evil. Just a thing. So Elsa only ever, other than Friedrich, thinks good of people. She thinks of Ortrud as good, she thinks of Lohengrin as good, she doesn't suspect anything of anyone. Her only thing is really that pre-opera she said no to Friedrich. But otherwise, she's really, hate that, she's really just pure. She's an angel. It's just like it is. So obviously she's got the lightest color, because Lohengrin, he's going to go to war, which obviously also puts him in a very similar position to Friedrich, that he will also physically attack other people, that he'll also kill other people, which Elsa would never do. And Ortrud, she still deceives people. She might, in this case, since she questions Lohengrin, and this is a good thing, she still does it with, well, not good intentions. She still does it because it's... Lost my train of thought there. End of it all. Ortrud still deceives people. Yes, she's questioning, which is good, but she still deceives people. And she still manipulates Friedrich. And she still manipulates Elsa, which tells us that she can't be the lightest color. It's just as it is. So Elsa's the lightest color because she's the only one who's completely pure, who has no bad thoughts in all her life, who's trusting and good, and probably when she goes into the forest there are animals singing around her and stuff, dressing themselves up in a cloak and dancing with her. No, but it would be funny. And Friedrich has this new edge of being, yes, the hero, but also slayer of men, also someone who would abuse a woman to get what he wants, which also puts him in the same realm as Lohengrin, as we know, because Lohengrin ties Elsa up in the third act, but still. Also, I'm so sorry if you haven't seen this production, you should. I think it might be on YouTube even. But anyway, so yeah, I think that's possibly all constellations, because there's not really anything else. It's either Lohengrin's good, Ortrud's good, which is the original, or we have Ortrud's good, Lohengrin's bad, which is the modern reading, or we have the very layered, detailed reading of saying Elsa is the lightest and Friedrich is the darkest. Which also might be a misconception of mine. This is just a thesis of me, by the way, based on what I heard in this small video clip of Bayreuth when they talked about the costumes. And yeah, also they had to dye all those wigs. Like, how? People, this is so difficult. All those blue wigs. And then they destroyed it last year with this gold. Anyway, I mean, I get it. I do, but it still kind of hurt my eye. But anyway, so this was Lohengrin for today and next year. Next year, yeah, you wish. Next week, when I hopefully have my result from my exam. Next week, we're going to talk about post-exile Wagner, which means we're going to talk about Tristan. And we're already going to have kind of a shift in who's good and who's bad, because up until now, it was really kind of obvious about who's good and who's bad. Just saying. I mean, we had basically broken down. We had basically kind of a God and devil situation in The Flying Dutchman. And we had Venus versus Elizabeth in Tannhäuser. And now we have Ortrud versus Lohengrin. But it kind of realigns itself after Wagner was in exile. So we're going to do this major jump from, I think, this is 18... Oh god. He was exiled in 1849. I know that. I think it was 1852 that Lohengrin was first premiered. And so we're going to have about a 15-year gap. Yeah, about a 15-year gap between now and between the next time, where he had a lot of theoretical work, which is not also part of my exam, by the way, but of the other half, where he had a lot of theoretical work. He thought a lot about character structures, and we will notice that because it's not as easy anymore to really determine who's the good one and who's the bad one. Or protagonist and antagonist, but I've kind of thrown that overboard by now. It's gonna go back a bit in Parsifal, but other than that, it's really not that easy anymore. So I'm glad that we are going to jump into the sea between Cornwall and Ireland next week and talk about that. Have a nice day, and yeah, just like, if you pray for me that I pass my exam. Probably doesn't matter to who you pray, though I doubt there are certain gods that would answer your prayers if you pray to them. But anyway, have a nice day, and yeah, wish me good luck. Bye.